the process of increasing in size. A feature that is both individual, intrinsic, and throughout nature.
This is going to be so interesting, you know.
This is the moment we have been waiting for.
I'm feeling it now.
What has come before is now consigned to the history books. This new decade brings new challenges, new rivals, falling giants, and new beginnings.
Bang, bang, bang! 3 shots to the heart.
Oh,
It's the back end. Oh no!
Those who are climbing will meet. Who will fall by the wayside, and who will embody growth.
There's still wheel to wheel!
That is unbelievable.
League of Europe, grow or fade.
How is it going, everyone? Welcome back to the League of Europe. We are here for round 1. We are finally into the first round of the season. Yes, my name is Jaco, as you can see down the bottom right of your screen. Of course, I am not alone. I am joined by the amazing and talented Mr. Killer Blue 195. How are you doing, sir?
Thank you. I'm very excited indeed for the first race of the season. We've got no idea how it's going to go. So many of these people have come up from D4 or down from D2, and people with points to prove. So I'm very interested to see how this goes, especially since it's the sweatiest race of the season as well.
Yeah, tell me about it. Literally, I think we almost had, I think it was not even one, I think it was 2 almost full practice lobbies in, like just in, like before this race even started, there was 2 full practice lobbies. So you can tell that it's just extremely sweaty going into the first round. So I suppose at this point anything goes. Of course, from last week, the one in the Red Bull of Car Mentalist did end up taking the win as well. So hopefully hopefully for him anyway, he is able to replicate what he did last week out in Mexico. And yes, it is a full lobby of every single full-time driver. I think that is the first time that has ever happened in Division 3. I can't lie, I'm extremely impressed. And I'm hoping we'll see a lot more of that during the season. I know at the moment it's just because of the COVID times, but I'm hoping we are going to see more of that throughout the season. But Jake, I think you had a few stats that we need to go over, I think, just to start off with.
I did, just to warm up. So, milestone to note, YHYY in the McLaren, LOE veteran, of course. If he scores 7 points today, so that's if he comes P6 or higher, or 7th with fastest lap, he will pass 500 points in the league history. Very impressive and worth a shout out if he achieves it. We also have at a track, oh, that is a very good banker, just to say, from QVR Chill there,
yeah,
straight into the 2s. This is a track notorious for penalties, like Mexico last week, and we have League of Europe's most prolific offender with us today, Mr. XL Tin Can, who has amassed 518 seconds worth of penalties in his League of Europe career, and I think, if I remember correctly, that amounts to almost 9 minutes worth of penalties. The next closest man today is Old School 3000 in the Haas. He has just 256, which, that's barely a blink of an eye in comparison, is it? And we only have one previous Austria winner on the grid with us today, and that is the D5 champion Cam K, who won Austria last season in Division 5. So odds are we're going to have a new Austria winner today. And we have got some lap times starting to flood in. Speaking of Cam K, he's done a very tentative banker of 4.5. I don't think that's going to get him far off the back of the grid, is it?
No, I don't believe it will. And I know that Cam K, he got promoted from Division or the provisional Division 4 last week to the now Division 3. I know he wasn't particularly too happy about it, but I'm expecting him to still do quite well in this race nonetheless, of course. Being in a few of these practice sessions, this man that's on your screen right now, which is of course TDV, he was just lightning quick, absolutely rapid, and I'm not gonna lie, I won't be surprised if it comes to next season, or not next season, sorry, even in the middle of the season, he may end up going up into Division 2 because his pace is just absolutely insane. But I suppose that's one for us to decide on later on in the season. as for now, he has invalidated his first lap, so he is more than likely going to be coming into the pits. And notice how he has just taken that pit lane. That is how we're expecting all of these drivers to be doing that, because if not, then there is a chance that we could be submitted into the stewards, basically just being the absolute teacher's pets and telling the stewards, and there is a chance you could be getting a penalty for it. So anyone that isn't aware of it, make sure you're just taking a pit lane nicely, and as long as you're not impeding anybody else, there won't be a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mentioned earlier about this is going to be the sweatiest race of the season. Already the Ferraris on their second run, they're already giving each other toes. The two IFR guys came up, dragging Raleigh down towards turn 4, and where is this lap going to put him? It didn't do wonders for him. A 3.38 puts him into P8.
3.38 into 8th, of course.
Yeah. Who's your tip for pole today, J. Cole? Anyone stand out to you?
I think it would be rude not to go with TDB, but at the same time, there has been somebody else in these practice sessions that has been in contention with him, and he is definitely notorious for being that quick in the first race of the season, and that is Mr. XL in the Racing Point. Now, like as we were just saying whilst the introduction was just going on, Bree took his one and only LOE win at Australia in season 2, I think it was, or season 3. It was I think it was season 2. He ended up taking a win at Australia, which is just absolutely ridiculous.
So he has precedent for winning the season opener.
Yeah.
You've not mentioned who. He's not my tip for victory, but he is my tip for pole. Is the man who's on pole right now, and on his second lap, QVR Chill. I think I know he's put a lot of practice into this week, and he's put in some really tasty times. He's a 10th up on his lap at the moment. I think he might just be, at the very least, on the front row, but I think he could be getting pole as well. I'm not sure how many drivers in D3 are quite near him, at least on 1 lap pace. I think his teammate, Old School 3000, might be one of the few that are.
Certainly are, as Chill's actually coming up to the line and has just improved on his time now, up to a 2.878 goes the QVR man. So yeah, the only one that's in the 2s at the moment, of course, the only sort of still got 10 minutes left to go in qualifying, and in fact Damon is up on his time by almost 0.3 of a second, so Damon could potentially be battling. Never mind. To be fair, he's still got in the 2s.
Absolutely.
But
just so long as we've got a battle for pole, that's all I want to see. I just want to see it close. I want to have no idea what's going to happen.
At this point, I don't think anybody has any idea of what's happening. He's going to make for a very, very good race, I must admit, considering that just went on board the tin can, absolutely sliding throughout turn 1, so I don't know if he's going to be ending up improving on his time. Edak, his teammate's actually just gone up ahead of him as a 2.51. Very, very close times already from 5th all the way down into 11th from Mark to Tim Mats. Literally only split by just over 0.1 of a second.
Absolutely crazy, but I suppose it comes with the territory, doesn't it? This is I think it's the shortest track on the calendar, bar Monaco. So we would be expecting very close times, but that is hyper close.
Yeah, extremely. So
you briefly mentioned just Old School there, being the start of that train of cars, so to speak. He absolutely choked his lap into turn 1. No surprise at all from my ex-teammate. And he was talking a big talk for this race. He's been saying how Haas have been slept on, so to speak. It looks like he's going again, but his first lap of this run, he did not go to plan. I think he would have been aiming for pole as well today, so he needs to pull his finger out.
Yeah, no, he certainly does. And being down, of course, in P6, it's more just in that midfield, going through turn 1 and turn 3, or turn 2/turn 3, whatever you want to call it, the hairpin, is where it's going to be the most difficult part to try and keep it as clean as you can, because people are going to have the run from behind, everybody else getting the slipstream on the lead up to that turn. It's going to be absolute chaos going into turn 3. I won't be surprised if we maybe even see a virtual safety car or anything like that in the first lap, as was just on board with Tim Matson, unfortunately invalidating at the final corner of his lap. Yeah, I mean, who did you say you reckon you see on pole? Did you say Chill?
Yeah, I think Chill's got it covered. But having said that, Mark on this second lap of his run, he's a tenth, nearly 2/10 up on his lap so far. If he can nail this final sector, he can get in amongst those front guys. So maybe I spoke too soon saying he's a bottle, but he went a little bit deep into the last corner. That's what we need.
Oh.
But he does go fastest.
So, Mark could
Don't
be
you just
proving
love
it
to be
wrong.
wrong?
He could be proving it's wrong. Without a doubt, Mike in the chat just saying 2.6 would be his prediction for pole. At this moment, Mike, it's looking like it could be for sure. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm very intrigued. Very, very intrigued. Of course, 3 people now into the 2s. Damon, in fact, I also just want to mention, did end up messing up his lap in the first one and is about to go again for his second lap. So, again, Damon's another one that I'm intrigued to see how he is going to do. Car Mentalist has just started his lap as Rudy, just on board with him, unfortunately invalidates his lap.
Yeah. I definitely agree with Mike's prediction that we can see a 2.6 because Old School just alone set that lap on. It was the second lap on those tyres, and he'll be. And he said he had that little mistake into the last corner. It went just a touch deep, so I think there's definitely a tenth and a half in there for him. And I know he's done a 2.6 in practice, so yeah, I think absolutely that's what we could see in just over 7 minutes' time. So we've got quite a train coming through Sector 2 right now.
I'm actually on board with XL Miami as he's just making his way up to the line, was up on his time, and a 2.9 for the Racing Point into P4, the 4th person to then get themselves into the 2s.
It's getting tasty, isn't it? This is what we like to see.
It certainly is. It certainly is. As I was on board with Car Mentalist, and unfortunately for him, he's just come around the final or second to last corner and ended up invalidating his lap at 3.3. That would have put him into P11. But I think he did end up slowing down because of that in the end. So, I mean, our pre-season winner from last week could be, as they say, in the mud.
Definitely, in a track like this, it's so easy to validate the pressure. You really don't want to put the pressure on yourself for one gun-ho lap at the end. You want to have a nice toasty banker to sit on. Keep your grid spot warm, and he does not have that right now. He does not have a valid lap at all. So, yeah, as you say, very much in the mud is Car Mentalist.
Yeah, no, he certainly is. And I just went on board with Peter, putting it up in a P3, a 9.10, only 7 thousandths of a second up ahead of Damon. And Jeroen Visser as well, putting himself up in a P6, only 9 thousandths behind Miami. So we're starting to see a lot more times now of people going into the 2s. Of course, we've now only got around 5 minutes left of the session, as I believe TDB is just about to be starting his lap, but I'm just currently riding on board of Educ as he will be the next one, I believe, to complete his lap. So just riding on board with the Finn. Just a little bit of inside knowledge from him as well. He ended up getting moved up into D2, I think, for season 3.
Oh,
as unfortunately,
he's got invalid.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate for him indeed. So of course, unfortunate for the Finn as he just makes his way straight into the pits. Not the ideal line of taking into the pits. Hopefully he doesn't do that in the race, but yeah, doesn't look as if he's sort of impeded anybody. But riding on board with TDB. Jake, do you want to take us straight through the rest of this lap?
Yeah, it's a very tricky little track, Austria. Easy on the eyes, but easy to get wrong. And he runs it out. He's quite giving with the curbs there. He could have used more. And he's not using as much of the track as I think he'd want to. He's taking it very safe just on that 12.9. Is he going to throw it into turn 9, 7th gear, misses the curb? Very, very tentative on the outside. He's not wanting to set an invalid lap. And, well, a 2.9 for his troubles, but yeah, there's a lot of time in that. You could see from on board he wasn't wanting to go near those white lines, wasn't wanting to dip a wheel and get that dreaded red mini-map. So I think TDB's got at least a couple of tenths in that just from seeing him through Sector 3.
Yeah, no, without a doubt as well. And also, I've just seen that Mr. XL Breeder, one that I was predicting to potentially be on pole, has gone and done a 2.9 as well. So we're starting to see basically half of the grid being in the 2s and the other half of the grid being in the 3s. Of course, Caesar and Car Mentalist, the only other ones, along with Vapor Trench, who's actually DNF from the session. Not too sure why. But yeah, Caesar and Car Mentalist, the only other 2 that are still yet to put themselves with a time. Of course, we've only got 3 minutes left of the session, and I'm assuming probably within the next minute, we're going to be seeing a lot more people coming out of the pits.
Yeah. We're going to see a deluge, aren't we? There's not much time left. Someone's got to get a move on if they want to be at the front of this train.
Yeah.
And that you mentioned people getting into the 2s now. The top 8 is covered by 0.123 seconds, which is absolutely staggering, isn't it? Just how close it is. I thought it was because I didn't think it was going to be that close, but here we are. Anyone, I think, from the top 12 could get pole. 13. Yeah. No, I might just say anyone could get pole, really.
It literally, anybody can get a pole at this point. Like, everyone's just looking like they are extremely rapid coming in towards this. And, well, the 2 Hasses, they talk the talk. So far, they're walking the walk at this point. So, I'm intrigued. Mark could be getting his second LOE win of the season. Or second LOE win in general.
It would be a second win of the week as well. He won in Bahrain in Division 3 TTML on Thursday, so he's on a hot streak. And I think Rudy is our first driver on their last lap. He's 300s down on himself in Sector 1, but that keeps him in play.
Yeah, no, it certainly
look
does.
At his sector times. Yeah, 0.7 in Sector 1, that's very tidy. Using all of the track, unlike TDB. Little lock up into turn 4, it's a downhill braking zone. You turn into the corners, makes it very easy to snatch the right front. Opens the track up to make turn 6 as easy as it can, and he runs wide, and that's an instant invalidation. He opened that track up just a bit too much. He was too greedy with those curbs. And I wonder if he's got the fuel to go again. It looks like he has.
I think he does, but
to the pit lane.
There is somebody else that I'm actually riding on board with. It's our current pole sitter of Old School, and he is up on his time. 500ths of a second up on his time through Sector 1 as he's now making his way through the downhill right of Turn 4. Very, very nicely done, opening it up as much as he can, and in fact, has put it into 0 ERS. So I don't know why he's backed off, because he was up on his time.
He went a little deeper to Turn 4 though, ran wide on the exit. You want to stay tight as you can on the exit there through to keep a shorter run towards Turn 6. So I think he just went a little bit deep. And he would have seen on his delta that it threw him out of play, but he's got another go at this.
Yeah, he certainly does, and in fact, I was about to say I think the next one that's going to come across the line is Damon, but he's invalidated his lap, unfortunately. He would have, I think, actually put that, it might have been on pole if he didn't turn his ERS down, so unfortunately for him, he is not going to be the next one across the line. I'm really trying to see who is, because everybody's out on their lap, I think.
We've got Raleigh JT. Is coming round to finish. I think he's the first one, and he goes 13th.
13.1 to his name. Of course, both of the IFR lads in the Ferraris. As Chill pipes his teammate 3,000. Oh my goodness. So we are really going to be seeing some rivalries over at Hass's K-Mark across the line. A 2.66 to his name, and that's only down into P16. As a few other guys are making their way across the or around the final corner now. TDB, I think, is just coming on to start a lap. Miami didn't manage to get a lap done in the end. Bree is just coming across the line and on the pole, 1,000th of a second.
My word!
Mark can beat it. So Mark, that is now having to start at maximum P3. TDB just manages to get across the line. Peter as well. Both going to be doing their laps. Car Mentalist does only manage to get himself up into P11, and I think that's the best he's going to be able to get. So Cam K, the other one, as he's just making his way around the final corner now and up towards the line. Caesar didn't end up getting a time done in the end. Cam K only in P18 was the best of what our Division 5 winner could get, unfortunately for him. So it goes over to the 2 Dutchmen as Peter making his way around the final corner now, keeping it as wide but as tight as he possibly can. Onto pole position, a 2.813. It relies it on the other Dutchman though, TDB, the one that I'm saying that could potentially win the race for tonight, as he makes his way up towards the line now. A 7. He gets it into the 7s. A 2.747. So half of the grid basically did end up getting it into the 2s in the end.
Yeah, that's incredible times. I remember last week I was disappointed with how tentative and slow the times were in qualifying, but this week, not at all. We've had a staggering run of times, and just the closeness of it as well. And in that, what we've lost is Sofian and Tin Can. We haven't noticed are set identical times. 103.167, and as well the gap between Bree, Chill and Old School all speaks to just how insane this session's been.
Yeah, have been absolutely insane throughout all of these guys. I mean, TDB, of course, as I said, I know that he was very quick. He's managed to put it on pole. Peter in second. Look at the gap between just second to fifth. Not even 300ths of a second.
Same again, almost for 6th to 9th. It's just absolutely staggering.
I mean, Sofian and Tin Can both had the same time. The one that previously won Division 3 of Tin Can is down in 15th.
That's not what we expected at all from someone who is like many people's favourite for the title. People are expecting him to go for this title, and he's starting his first race back in D3 since he won it, down in 15th. But hand over to you for the full grid.
So, as I said, TDB chucking it on pole position, up ahead of a fellow Dutchman of Peter into P2. Bree is in a third with Chill in fourth, Mark or Old School in fifth. Again, not where he would have wanted. He started off the quali strong, unfortunately ended it not so strong to him. Damon into sixth with Raleigh into seventh. A good lap from the Ferrari, actually, I must admit. Miami in eighth with Euron in ninth. Rudy in 10th with Tim Matz in 11th. Edoc in 12th. Car Mentalist in 13th. Sofian in 14th. Tin Can in 15th. Again, a very big disappointment from him. K-Mark in 16th. White in 17th. Cam K in 18th. And then only two that didn't manage to get times on the board, both Caesar and Vapor Trench. So, maybe they're going to be trying to go for a bit of a reverse strategy coming onto this one. I know the mediums to softs can be done, and probably the ideal strategy if you're starting outside of the top 10. But if you're starting inside the top 10, a lot of guys, I'm expecting for them to go from either soft to medium or soft to hard. Of course, both being doable, but the soft to hard being, I would say, the more preferable one to go for. So I'm intrigued, because there may be a few guys that might go for a bit of a different one and go from the soft to medium.
I think soft medium is a dicey strat, particularly if you're on pad with that worst tyre wear, but there's every chance that if you make it work, it can work big, but it is a risk because you are threatening a visit from a puncture onto one of your tyres if you go for soft medium. We might see more people doing medium soft, I think, potentially, than soft medium. If you're at the front, you don't want to take that risk. I think we're going to see lots of people go for a nice safe, soft to hard.
Yeah, we certainly will. So just looking outside of the top 10, there's only three people that have actually opted to go on a set of softs. Tim Matz in 11th being one of them. Of course, I can understand why he's done that, just to maybe keep up with that top 10 in that train. But YHYY and Cam K, the other two that have opted to stay on a set of the soft tyres. Everybody else outside of the top 10 going for a set of mediums. So they are going to be trying to do the reverse strat of a medium to soft towards the end of the race. I'm looking forward to seeing how that's going to pan out for all of them, especially with Edoc and Car Mentalist being those top two in that, and Tin Can also, who we thought would be one of the season favourites, down in 15th. Of course, starting on that reverse strategy. I mean, both of the Hasses, they were talking the talk like I was saying before. They're in 4th and 5th, so it's not all doom and gloom for the both of them, and I'm very intrigued, because throughout this entire stream, we're literally going to be switching between multiple drivers. Just as a little tease for all of you guys out there, it is going to be a little bit of a tease that we're going to be switching between quite a lot of the different drivers' point of views just from their streams alone, so we can catch as much of the action as we possibly can. But TDB making his way around the final corner now and getting themselves ready as we get ready to start the first round of the season.
It's very exciting, isn't it? This is the best part of, I think, any new season of any sport, just seeing all of that hard work you put in this case, over the week, just come to fruition. And I honestly have no idea how this is going to go. Austria is meant to be a boring race, it's meant to be trains for days, but I've got a feeling that D3 is going to throw us up a good race here.
It certainly will. It's definitely going to provide something very, very interesting to say the least. So, let's get ourselves ready for this first race of the season. And here come the 5 red lights to take us through the beginning of Season 5. And it is lights out and away we go. And Peter getting a very good start in comparison to TDB. Although TDB does manage to hold his own in towards turn 1. And Bree does manage to hold himself into P3. I do realise that Chill has also just managed to keep up from Old School into P4. Damon, though, trying to come up with the attack on Old School, coming up in towards turn 3. As I said, turn 3 is where we're going to see most of the action go down. And I think there's already been a few position changes. Camcake already up into P16. Got to be very careful going in towards turn 3. You don't want to be raking your wing this early on. As, a bit of contact Miami. And I think that was Tim Mats, and I think that was a Vapor Trench as well, I think, or your own.
Miami and your own. I'm not sure who the third one was, but I did see a massive chunk of front wing strewn across the exit of turn 3. I'm not sure who that belongs to. I don't think it's Miami. I was just about to say, J. Cole, how well behaved everybody was through the first 3 corners, but yeah, not sure, too sure what happened there. But I think the front 6 have all held position, and well, the train is underway.
The train certainly is on the way, and I just also want to say, Carmentalist from 13th has already made his way up into the top 10, so already getting up ahead of the Alfa Romeo of Tim Mats. He's actually just gone very, very just decided to have a bit of a drift.
We've got a Renault off track at the. Sorry to interrupt. You had a Renault off track at the back of the last corner. We've got a Mercedes spun. I think it was Caesar actually that went off track, and who's that? Vapor Trench and YHYY side by side running up to turn 3.
I don't know why I just tried going on board with it, but for some reason it didn't. Yeah, there you go, going up towards turn 3. YHYY does manage to get that place back from Vapor Trench. So Trench, to be fair, from back of the grid in 20th is now already up into P15. So it's a good start from the Mercedes. But yeah, the top 6, like you said, they've all, or top 7 actually, have all remained how they have from where they started, I do believe. I'll actually have a double check. Yeah, top 7. And Rudy, Commentalist, everybody moving themselves up, obviously, other than the back 3 of Miami, Educ, and your own, unfortunately for those guys. I don't know what had happened through turn 3. It did look like, I don't know, a Mercedes trying to go around the outside. I think there was an Alfa Romeo that was involved in all of that as well. I couldn't properly see it. So, yeah, hopefully we'll get a bit of an update through that going on later on into the race. But the top 2 already pulling away. Bree already out of that 1 second gap between himself and Peter, and now DRS is enabled on this lap, and Bree really needs to get a bit of a move on if he wants to stay in the DRS of these top 2, because, like you said, Jake, it's a bit of a DRS train around Austria.
It is, and if Bree can't keep himself inside that 1 second window, we could very easily see the front pair run away if they decide not to get too handsy with each other, because the strength of that DRS is just so powerful. And Bree, good though his race pace is, he's not as quick as TDB. He's going to start slipping back from this, but he's pulled himself into within 9/10 now. I did just see Peter flashed outside the second, so I think TDB is giving it the beans here to try and break DRS early. He's already down to 40%. That said, Peter, I'm 29. They're all using up their airs here massively. The only one who hasn't in that lead pack is Old School, who's sitting pretty on 75%.
Yeah, so Mark's just doing his best to not push out as much as he possibly can, and just making sure that he keeps himself with that ARS. Again, it's going to play massively into his hands later on in the race, especially considering that the one that's in front of him is his teammate. So just dragging him along, making sure that Damon stays behind him. Of course, in this DRS train, well, I suppose anything can go. It just depends who's going to be the bravest one, who's going to use their ERS to get that first move done on everybody else, to be honest with you. I want to be able to see if we can go on board with anybody.
Tim Mats down the inside of Carmentalist in turn 4. He needed that move to make his softs work. Didn't want to be sat behind a medium car. The mediums are not a good race tire in the early phase of the Grand Prix, and Tim Mats has dispatched Carmentalist with a textbook manoeuvre there.
Yeah, he certainly has, and this is what we're actually going to go on board with. Is this battle for this P9 between Tim Mats and Carmentalist. Of course, Tim Mats managing to get that move done on the Red Bull in the end. Of course, as you can see on the live stream, coming up in towards turn, or the second to last corner, as Carmentalist is just now making his way up to the second to last corner on his live stream. But yeah, I mean, Tim Mats getting that move done on Carmentalist, going, I think it was through turn 4. braking as late as he possibly could, just making sure, as you said, getting those soft tyres working. Because if he didn't use all of his sets of softs, he would have started on fresh ones in comparison to everybody else. As Tim has just sort of weaving to try and break that toe from Car Mentalist behind him. Does manage to stay up ahead of him for now. However, he's going to have that DRS. It just depends on who gets the better exit. As Car Mentalist, I don't think he has, but Sofian is all over the back of him.
Yeah, and this battle is creating a big breakaway group for the top 8 with Tim Matz already 2.6 seconds down. And if anyone behind, without a safety car, has any plans on winning this race, they need these guys to sort themselves out and push on as their own little train and try and catch up to the one we've got up front. Tim Matz having a big slide out of turn 8, but Car Mentalist not close enough, but those medians are going to start to come towards him the more this race goes on. Tim Matz did, as you mentioned, start on fresh tyres, but that looked like it might have been a warning there for Car Mentalist, but he needs to get well, I say that, they just need to push on, really.
Yeah, just sort of watching from Car Mentalist's stream, I think he did end up getting a warning for that, so that's one warning to his name that we know of as well.
Oh, and Damon and Raleigh going very side by side into turn 3. Damon gave Raleigh a little squeeze there, I think, onto the grass, and Rudy was interested for good measure. But now they've slipped back out of the RS as well, so the train is breaking apart into, I suppose you could call them carriages, couldn't you?
Yeah. Top 5 all going at each other, and then obviously you got 6th, 7th and 8th, and then you got 9th all the way down to Miami in P18, of course, with him having that collision in turn 3 on the first lap. Of course, still not too sure, of course, what had happened with him, but these 3 are all close together as Raleigh is actually starting to drop back from Damon, and Rudy is now starting to come onto a bit of an attack on him, as well as Car Mentalist is also very close to the back of Tim Matz. These 2 guys, Tim Matz and Car Mentalist, starting to break away from the medium runners that are behind him ever so slightly, as Caesar does pick himself up yet another 3-second time penalty to his name. But Tim Matz already almost used all of his ERS, just pulling as far over to the right as he possibly can to break that toe from Car Mentalist, leading up in towards turn 1. But I think this is where Car Mentalist is really going to get a bit interesting, a bit more racy, as leading up in towards turn 3, a very beautiful helicopter shot. Tim Matz, you can see that red light flashing on the back of his car, meaning that he has got less than 10% ERS to his name. Doesn't end up going for a move, does the Red Bull, although if he gets a better traction coming out of it, he may have a chance. No, he doesn't, but it looks like Tin Can could have a bit of a better chance coming out of it, and could potentially, it's not even Tin Can, it's Sofian, potentially going for a move around the outside of the Red Bull in towards turn 4. They're both still side by side ever so slightly, but Sofian does the smarter thing, just backs out ever so slightly, and now is in between the 2 that I think could have been battling each other for this championship of Car Mentalist and Tin Can. As just currently riding on board with Chill, very close to the back of Bree as well. Again, we've still got this train going on for these top 5 guys. The 2 Hasses just doing as much as they can. As Chill, you can see he's starting to save his ERS a lot more. Mark just keeping it around that 70 to 80% ERS. Just making sure he keeps it as much preserved as possible. Damon really needs to start getting a move on, though, if he wants any chance of being able to stay within that train in that top 5. Although with everybody else having DRS, it's a lot harder for him to do so. And now I think we're maybe seeing a battle for the lead as Car Mentalist getting that move done on Tim Matz going around the outside. You can see it from Car Mentalist's point of view. He pulls to the left-hand side of the Alfa Romeo. Tim Matz does try to hold it around the inside, but Car Mentalist, to be fair, shuts the door on him, gets the move done. Sofian also got that move done, and Sofian maybe now trying to attack the Red Bull. Car Mentalist, a little bit of a tap from him, and Car Mentalist is round. So you can see from Car Mentalist's point of view, he turns in as normal. Unfortunately, Sofian just braking a little bit later than what he should have done, and now Car Mentalist, what was a good start from him into P9, unfortunately now has gone round. As we just go back to the normal POV, so very unfortunate for the Red Bull. He's now dropped himself down into 18th, 5 seconds away from that train. And what started off as a very good start from the Red Bull, unfortunately he's now down into P18. As we're also just riding on board now with Tin Can, of course, the only other man in this one to win Division 3. Coming up towards Tim Mats as he's just making his way, possibly going around down the inside in towards turn 3. Whoever breaks later, I think these softs are now starting to wear out as Tin Can could potentially get this move done on the Tim Mats, trying to hold it around the outside of the Williams in towards turn 4. Of course, Tin Can is the one with the DRS. I don't know if Tim Mats got any DRS to his name. It does look like he does, but very low ERS to his name. Tim Mats trying to hold it around the outside, not going to be able to do that. Tin Can straight down the inside, getting that move done, easily done for the XL man. Although Tim Mats trying to come back at him in towards turn 5, but he's now going to compromise his run because White's all over the back of him.
Tim Mats, you've got to be a brave man to try and put an overtake there. Sorry for being silent for a minute. I had a tickle in my throat. But yeah, this has been great racing from these guys. So unlucky for Car Mentalist. Sofian was a very naughty boy there, and Tim Mats is sluggish off turn 9, sluggish through turn 10, and White's got a great run on him here down to turn 1, but the DRS of Tim Mats neutralises White's advantages. Old School was first of our leaders to pit, and he goes straight on to Hearts.
Yep, that's completely understandable for Mark, trying to just sort of get out of that train a little bit, just get some clear air, get as much time done as possible. As White does get past him, as Rudy and Damon are both also battling side by side here, as Rudy trying to close back up to the side of Damon, as I didn't realise also Raleigh got past the two of them, as Damon trying to hold it around the outside. Rudy's not going to have to run on of TTG Damon, and Damon just, I think, is managing to hold on to that P6. So good defensive manoeuvre from Damon to hold on to that, as White
Tim Mats is trying down the inside of turn 6 again. Tim Mats said he's got to be a brave man to pass through there, and he's so brave. He's tried it twice. But this is absurd racing for these guys. Absolutely crazy stuff. As Bree and Chill into the pits, and Tim Mats also pulling off to come into the pits first of this little bunch of fighters. And Vapor Trench, that's what that rule to peel into the pits was for. Vapor Trench probably thought Tim Mats was further ahead than he was, and has now lost a chunk of front wing.
Yeah, very unfortunate for Vapor Trench, as now he's going to have Caesar all over the back of him, and of course Vapor Trench starting on the set of the mediums. It's now not working out for him as Caesar overtake on, getting that move done as, what was you, I think, Cam
K passing IFR K-Mark just behind. Vapor Trench fighting that much harder than he needed to, and now the two Renaults going side by side. Caesar's off momentum, squeezes his teammate, but Cam K on those softs as he got the momentum. He's got no ERS. Last of the late breakers into turn 4. Neither teammate wants to yield, but I think Cam K is going to come out on top of that one, and he does.
Yeah, that was a very...
It was naughty there to give Caesar that shove.
That certainly was. Very, very unfortunate from him indeed. Yeah, it was definitely a bit of a forced move from Vapor Trench, of course, with that wing damage as well. I get why he has done that, but at the same time, it was a bit too... Well, I don't know how to describe it. It's just it was just a bit too naughty, I suppose, of a move from him. But he's managed to keep P9 nonetheless, and of course Cam K is coming up to the back of the Mercedes. Only 7 tenths splitting them. Of course, Vapor Trench with that wing damage, he's gonna have to do some defending for his life. And whether it will work in the end or not, I'm not too sure, as we've now got a few more guys that are coming at the pits for a set of the hards, as the two Hasses just letting each other go. I think Mark just making sure that Chill goes up on ahead, as Caesar and Cam K both trading positions, getting managing to get past, stay ahead of K-Mark, as Bree is the leading hard runner at the moment.
Yeah, he just got past Carmel turn 3. I'm going to keep an eye on that gap that he has to TDB. He might be trying to get an undercut. It's 19.6 at the moment, but be very interested to see where Bree is in relation to these lead two when they come in. I think TDB's coming in now, but Peter stays out. So that's interesting. I wonder if Peter's going for a soft medium, like you alluded to on the formation lap, Jacob.
Possibly could be. It's definitely possible for that. I mean, the guys that are pitting now, of course, are going to have to go on a set of the hards. If they try to go on a set of the mediums now, they are not making that to the end of the race, and I can tell you that for certain. As TDB is one of them who's gone on a set of the mediums.
That's bold, considering where he was on track. You don't need to take that risk. 23 laps, he has to be banking on a safety car. He's kept his gap to Bree, and he's going to pull away for the time being. But yeah, that's a gutsy call, isn't it? With 23 laps to go, 24 actually, including this one. So he can't make that, can he?
I wouldn't have thought so. I mean, he could completely prove all of us wrong, and if he does, all the power to him. But I don't really see that happening at all. I would be very, very impressed if he certainly does. But now we're actually going to ride on board with 2 drivers. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to ride on board with Peter and TDB, only because Peter, of course, is still going to need to make that pit stop very, very shortly, whereas TDB has already made that first pit stop. So give me 2 seconds as there we go. We will now ride on board, of course, with the both of them as who's that that's coming to the pits?
Peter and Rudy. Rudy followed in. Peter going for the mediums as well. So I can only assume he didn't know what tyre his race rival was going for, and he's come out comfortably behind TDB. But is he going to come out ahead of Brie? He's not. And
Wow.
QVR Chill's got a massive run on him down towards turn 3. Is this going to be an Urs fest towards turn 3? It's not. And Chill's, is he going to have a look at Brie as well? He's not, but he's now going to have a run on the Maltese down towards turn 4. Chill could get 2 places for the price of 1 here. And Old School's not too far back, looking interested as well. Here is Chill, he's too far back.
Yep, certainly could. So Chill manages to get past Peter in the end. I think he was battling for P2. Brie now, by the way, is now technically in a net 2nd place. Potentially, if TDB cannot hold those tyres, could be in a net 1st place. So you could be right with your call, as Vapor Trench now just letting TDB go into P6. I'm assuming Bree's going to catch up to him relatively quickly as Raleigh's also coming into the pits. And I'm assuming isn't going to come out any sort of where close. Is still riding on board, of course, with Peter on the right-hand side of your screen. Did end up picking up a penalty in the end. So, I can't lie. We're not seeing as many penalties as I was actually anticipating.
I was just thinking that, actually. Peter is the first of our front group of 6 or 7, isn't he, to pick one up, as TDB dispatches K-Mark, and that free position from Vapor. He's moving through these yet-to-pit guys very quickly, and probably not losing as much time as Bree would hope. But he's got Chill very interested behind. Is Chill going to go for it down to turn 4? He's not. Peter breaks very late as well.
Yeah, so 2 of these guys...
This is great stuff for TDB, because these guys find each other. They're going to be holding each other up left, right and centre. And on his mediums, he can run away and hide, but he's got to make sure they don't puncture first.
Yeah, that's the more important thing. Of course, with him coming in at around lap 12, lap 13, I'm honestly still surprised he has gone on a set of the mediums. If he makes it work, then yeah, of course, more power to him. But I don't see TDB possibly making this work, and towards the end of the race, it's going to be very, very tight for him to be close to maybe even end up winning in the end. So I don't know. It could be proving us completely wrong, as Carmentalist does end up making his way into the pits and actually chucks on a set of the hards when he started on a set of the mediums. So, of course, the medium and soft not working for him, as Peter getting that move done on Chill. As you can see on the right-hand side of your screen, going down the inside in towards turn 3. Was looking at maybe trying to go for a move on Bree, but I had to back out of that. And now Chill trying to go back around the outside of Peter, but Peter just shuts the door on the Haas and is now back up into a net P3. Next up is the XL member in the Racing Point of Bree.
I think Peter getting past on those mediums, he's now got to do the same to Bree to make the most of them, because if he is going to have to make another stop, he needs track position, because of course the guys around him won't need to pit again. So he knows, I'll assume he knows, as TDB picks up a penalty, that could be massive, especially there's a late safety car or something when this is not going to end well, is it? We've got Vapor Trench with his wing damage and these guys scrapping for the win behind. We've seen how Vapor Trench doesn't like getting overtaken with his front wing. He covers the inside line. He's in no mood to let these guys go.
He certainly isn't, but he has actually just broken it a bit early. Bree has managed to get past. Nobody else has, however, but Peter trying to go down the inside in towards turn 4. Trench just giving him a bit of a squeeze in towards it, not giving an inch to the Dutchman, and so Trench. Oh, Peter, a bit of a dive going down the inside of Trench. Still riding on board with Peter on his POV as well. Trench, I think, broke a lot earlier than what Peter was anticipating. Does actually end up getting a move done. I think he's got much better traction, especially with Trench and his wing damage. Peter getting that move done, and that was very well. It was very well coordinated from the both of them, because I was expecting a bit of more of a collision going on from that.
I was expecting the carbon fibre to fly off. Luckiest dive bomb of the season. It's only round 1, but I think I'm going to stick with that and say that is the luckiest dive bomb we're going to see all season from Peter. He didn't know too much about it when he made the overtake. I can imagine he was quite surprised, like, oh, this has actually worked. I think he got too hot on the brakes, didn't realise Vega was going to fight it, and then he nearly hit Bree as well. As Ulstral's now looking to overtake Trench.
Yep. Straight down the inside, although Mark has broken very, very late.
It's very deep.
Don't think he meant to do that, but he's going to have the ERS and DRS straight back on Trench. I don't know if Trench is going to try and fight that this hard. No, he is not. Does just back off Old School back up into P9, and Peter as well has managed to get the move done on Bree, as you would have seen on the right hand side of your screen. So Peter now into P6. He's about 4.5 seconds away from TDB, so he's got a bit of a mission to do to try and catch up to the back of him. Of course, with both of those guys having penalties at the moment, I mean, if Bree does stick with Peter, then Bree will be in second position. I don't know. I still don't know who is going to win this, because one safety car as well. If a safety car comes out whilst all these medium runners are still on their mediums that they're on, they'll be absolutely blessed for it.
Yeah, it'll be a similar situation to Division 1 last season, where those who went long in the first stint reaped the rewards massively, but doesn't seem the safety car is forthcoming right now. We've actually seen, with a couple of exceptions, everything's been quite clean so far since lap 1. You have to think, then, even with the penalty, TDB has got this covered if his tyres hang on. If he was on hards, I would say race over, TDB's got this, but it's going to be a question mark, I think, all the way to the end, is whether those tyres make it, and we don't know how much tyre saving he's doing right now, of course, but he's catching the leading two rapidly.
There's two big words that are within that, is when and if. If his tyres are able to last, and if not, when are those tyres going to go? Because they're really sort of like the two big factors of it. So, I mean, at this moment, yeah, I agree with you. TDB comfortably is going to be taking this one, unless he ends up getting another penalty. Then it won't be so comfortable. But yeah, I can only sort of really see that he's going to end up taking this win, as Peter getting that move done on K-Mark. And again, as I said, you'll see that on the right hand side of your screen. Of course, we will try and go on board with a few other drivers very, very shortly. But Trench just losing out that place to Raleigh, of course, down for P12. Raleigh, I also want to say, is a little bit of an underdog on this one, because he's gone on a set of the mediums as well as Rudy, and the same, of course, with Peter and TDB. They're coming up closely now to this train of the hard runners, and Rudy's already in that train of the hard runners. All Raleigh needs to do is really just get past Damon as quick as he can to then be able to get into that train. And it's not over for him, because I know Raleigh, from one of the pre-season races, I think it was in Mexico, was one of the only ones that didn't pick up a penalty.
I think he was the only driver that didn't pick up a penalty, but his problem is he's stuck behind Damon right now, and Damon doesn't look too happy on those times. He went very deep into turn 4 as K-Mark comes into the pit. So we've only got, how many? We've got 3 guys out there now who haven't pitted. Although Eduk and Giron at the back will need to go again. But yeah, so it's very tricky to call this. It's a very fine small voids between the medium runners and the hard runners. The medium runner who's in the most sticky situation right now is Rudy, who's at the back of this hard train of Bree and the 2 Hasses. His mediums aren't helping him get through that at all, and but he's going to have the same problem as TDB and Peter, that might not get to the end of the race, but unlike them, he's not been able to get a gap of any sort. So I'm worried for Rudy right now, actually.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very tight, as TDB is now going to go around the outside of Sophia and into what's the final second to last corner. Sophia and Tinkham both into the pits, going, I'm assuming, on a set of the softs. K-Mark, yeah, he's come on and put on a set of the softs. Chill now with also a 3-second time penalty, so Mark and Rudy are really going to benefit from this. And in saying that, Rudy is now trying to go along or down the inside of Mark, but just backs out, as he knows coming up towards turn 3 is probably going to be the better opportunity for him to get that move done. As there you go, I think he got a bit of a better exit going out of turn 1. Rudy going around the outside of Mark in towards turn 2, or going down the inside of turn 2, coming towards the outside of turn 3.
Chill on Bree as well.
Yeah, getting that move done. So Bree's starting to lose out a couple of positions. However, the only saving grace for Bree at the moment is no penalties. But there's another driver with no penalties just behind him, and that is Rudy. Is he thinking about going for a move in towards turn 4? No, he isn't. And Bree, massive lock up going in towards turn 4, but does manage to hold that position from him.
So I think Mark agrees with us that Rudy's mediums are not going to make it to the end of the race, because on that run up to turn 3, Rudy was on 10%ers and using it like crazy, and Mark was sitting on 60% and thought, you know what, I'm just going to keep what I've got, and he just let him go completely. So I think Mark as well is banking on Rudy's tyres not making it to the end.
If that's the case, the TDBs definitely aren't making it to the end.
Yeah, 2 laps older, aren't they?
Yeah.
Or 1 lap older, sorry.
But interestingly enough as well, Sofian and Tin Can. Sofian's actually come out ahead of Tin Can as well, and Sofian's about 2 seconds behind Miami, and then it is the train. It's like 5 seconds behind that, and then it's the train of all of those top guys, and those 2 are yet to also pick themselves up any penalties. So where we were saying Tin Can, where he had the most amount of penalties in Division 3, he's now actually not. He's now one of the only ones that haven't picked themselves up a penalty as of yet. As Kmart getting that move done on Cam K in towards turn 3.
Old school Rudy. Old school forced his. I think he forced Rudy off the track. That was a very late move from Mark, and they both ended up in the gravel. I just saw from on board on Damon a puff of gravel thrown up. So maybe Mark wasn't too happy about getting overtaken.
Maybe not. Maybe he's now realised that those 2 guys that are up ahead of him have got the penalties. The only ones that haven't, and it's the 2 ex-teammates of Mark and Bree. Mark and Bree. Well, I didn't think we would be seeing this, but I think these 2 are the ones that are battling for the lead of the race technically. Well, depending of course if Peter and TDB both get themselves another penalty. As Damon also picking himself up a 3-second time penalty. Sofian setting the fastest lap of the race and is all over the back of Miami. Caesar's now just taken that fastest lap of the race. Sofian, DRS now wide open, overtake on. I don't think Miami's really going to stand a chance of being able to hold this position. No, he is not. Sofian on, of course, much younger tyres and much softer compound of tyre gets the move done. Miami will have the DRS, however, but I think Sofian, with that traction that he had out of turn 3, I don't think Miami's going to be able to get back up to back of him. It doesn't look as if he will. So Sofian now up into P9, 5 seconds down the road from all of the other guys on those hards. He can catch them probably within the next 4 laps.
Yeah, I think we're going to see this train close up, because say Sofian's going to catch Raleigh, and Raleigh and Damon are edging very gently towards Rudy. I think Raleigh's going to be very frustrated here, because he's on mediums. He's on the quicker tyre, but and you can see Damon will have 12 seconds of penalties. He's on absolute jack, and he just can't get past at all. Even without Damon having DRS, and it
does look as if he is struggling to get past him. So Raleigh, I think, is just going to have to stay down in P8 for now, although he is starting to close up to the back of him. But another one that I'm also on board with, Caesar, closing up to the back of Kmart. Kmart did get him on the last lap, and Kmart very close to running out of ERS, but Caesar just has to stay behind the the Ferrari for now, as Raleigh's actually managed to get that move done in Damon in the end. So as we were just talking about it,
too soon.
Yeah, he's just gotten the move done straight away. So Raleigh now 1 second. He needs to try and catch up to those guys up ahead of him. Of course, Rudy, the other one in that train on the set of the mediums. To be fair, if you're sitting in this train at the moment on these mediums, you really need to try and get out of that train ASAP, because 30 years is going to be the thing that's going to, well, it's going to be the killer for the tyres. No pun intended.
Yeah, absolutely. And something as well we've not mentioned actually is how much Peter is catching TDB. I remember seeing that gap was at 4.1. It's now at 2.6, and it's coming down corner by corner by corner. Said TDB have this covered. I don't think he does anymore. It's now briefly went down to 2.4, but yeah, Peter's really reeling him in.
Yeah, it certainly is. As Tin Can just going down the inside of Miami and towards turn 1. Oh, K-Mark has gone off.
K-Mark.
front wing has completely shattered. His front right is completely gone, just breaking the P0 boards on that right-hand side.
Takes it out on some polystyrene.
Yeah, that's probably the more reasonable thing to do rather than taking it out on another driver or just retiring on track. So unfortunate for Kmart because he was having a really good battle with Caesar. I don't know if that had any effect into it, as Miami, another 3-second time penalty to his name, unfortunately for him. This is going to be really tight towards the end, I think. I think the hard runners are going to catch up to the back of those two mediums. Maybe with about 5 laps to go.
I think you're right, because the gap between TDB and Chill has stabilised at around 6.1, and it's now, and it might just be about to start to come down. They've stopped pulling away. So Peter's taken another couple of tenths out of TDB on this lap as well. So I think we're going to see this big trend we've already got closing up. It's going to close up even more. And Sofiane and Tinkan are getting really pushing towards Damon as well, so it's going to close up from both ends, I think.
Yeah, no, it certainly will. So yeah, I think the final 5 laps of the race is where it's going to be really, it is where it's going to start to heat up, especially with these guys on those hards. Rudy, he still can't seem to find a move past Mark, since Mark had gotten that move done on him. And Mark is starting to close back up to the back of Bree as well. Bree's starting to lose a little bit of touch to Chill. We could be seeing Mark going for a move as he goes very wide out the second to last corner, so we'll assume got a warning for that, as Damon, another 3-second time penalty to his name, so he's definitely going to be losing out to the other guys. As who's that that's gone round? I think that's Edok.
Edok.
Has he got a puncture?
He's doing donuts. No, I think he must have just dropped it. He's got half a front wing. His left front wing end plate is missing. He must have just dropped it out of turn 4 as...
Ooh, loads of changes going on.
Change?
Yeah, loads of changes going on. Bree trying to go down the inside of Chill in towards turn 3. Mark and Rudy both also battling. It's literally
Mark,
2 by 2. Noah's Ark. Mark trying to go down the inside, trying to make it free wide, but Bree trying to hold it around the outside. They're going to lose out that place to Mark, going to lose out that place to Chill, and it's going to lose out that place to Rudy. So bit of a forced move from Chill, as Bree trying to hold it back down the inside in towards turn 6. Could possibly, but Rudy on those medium tyres, I assume will get that position done as Bree's gone round.
Oh, Bree, I'm sorry, but I think you just left your front wing in there a bit longer than you needed to. Rudy had the inside up over the kink of 8, and he was going to run it out down towards the crest. I think Bree should just backed out of that one a little bit, and it's cost him any chance of victory that he had.
Ooh.
And well, Mark will be licking his lips, won't he?
I don't think he will. I mean, he's going to be at the moment, but I don't think he will. Reason why? He's got front wing damage.
Oh my word, what have we missed here into turn 3 on the last lap?
I think that must have been where him and Rudy...
let Mark go out of turn 4.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well.
Right.
So,
it looked like Chill was letting Mark go, but Mark is having another look back at his teammate.
Yeah, so Mark now with that wing damage, as I said, I'm assuming he must have had it when he had that collision with Rudy. I don't know, but now that's brought Damon and Raleigh into this battle, and not only those guys, it's the soft runners of Sofiane and Tinkan. Yeah. So they're now in this battle. Miami's starting to catch up to the back of this battle. This is... it's going to cause some carnage. Of course, Chill's now dropped back by 6 seconds because of that. So now Chill, he's going to need to get a move on. He's doing exactly that, and Mark, I'm seeing Season 3 vibes here. I think Mark is doing exactly what Mark is usually does, and is holding as many people up as he possibly can, whilst also trying to maintain that position for himself. As I think Damon went very, very wide coming out of turn 1. Sofiane and getting that move done as Rudy. Not again, surely.
Use Mark as a break a little bit there. I think he's probably expecting less resistance from the Haas driver, but clearly he doesn't know Mark. And we've got Sofiane spun around at the exit of turn 3. Just as he was making progress on those guys ahead that we mentioned, and Rudy's past Mark as well, and they come together.
You better be careful of Raleigh, because Raleigh's just come through.
Division 3, what is going on? And now Mark's back past Rudy. Rudy had a massive...
Oh, Mark's round!
Oh my... Yeah. Rudy had a big scrum over to it out of turn 6. Mark fancied it into 7, and Rudy just snapped across him and said, "You are not coming through today." And that's curtains for Mark, I think.
Especially with that wing damage, I think he's probably going to just try and pit in and go for the fastest lap. I wouldn't blame Mark for trying to do that at all, but, well.
Got Damon in the pit. Why is that? Has Damon got front wing damage? Yeah, he's changing his front wing, so... Division 3, it was so peachy and clean. What have you done?
Sofian's now come in. Look who's now probably coming in contention of this. It's Tin Can. 7/10.
Keeping out of trouble.
Yeah. I told you, these last 5 laps are what's going to produce it. Tin Can, he's on for a podium at least. As well as if he can get past Rudy and get past Raleigh. I'm assuming Rudy must have wing damage now, though.
I think so. Yeah. Actually, he's got a full complement of elements, but his tyre's going to be very third hand in any case. I think by this point, so Tin Can is in with a big shout because Rudy's not getting back into Raleigh's DRS. That much is for certain, at least at the moment. So Tin Can do this. He's got to do it in the next 2 laps.
Yeah, he's definitely got to get that move done ASAP. And, well, hopefully for Tin Can, he can get that move done because he's now got that DRS on Rudy. He's closing up to the back of him. Rudy with barely any ERS to his name. No DRS to his name. Tin Can straight down the inside in towards turn 3. Rudy's not going to even attempt to fight it. Up into P5 is Tin Can. He closes up this gap a little bit more to chill. He's definitely on the podium. He just needs to get past Raleigh.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's going to get... Oh, we've got a yellow... Oh, that's just for old school, I think. Yeah, so on those softs, he's only got to make a couple of seconds and he's going to get ahead of Chill. Someone else I'd like to give a shout out to is Excel Miami. After getting spun round on lap 1, various shenanigans later, he finds himself in 7th place. He's having a very tidy race, isn't he? 2 pens, but... He's come out of nowhere as Bree and Mark and Damon and Sophie and have all fallen around him. He's recovered nicely.
He certainly has, and of course he may end up losing out that place to Caesar and to Bree unless he gets a little bit more of a move on. So P9, I think, is possibly where Miami could be unless, as I said, he does get a bit of a move on. But Caesar on the soft compounder tyre, I think is probably going to be closing up onto him, as it looks like there's a massive battle going up ahead.
We're seeing some interesting Haas tactics here. Mark has slowed down, let himself get lapped, and now he is towing his teammate around, giving him DRS out of turn 3 and 4. I suppose we should expect nothing less, but I think TDB actually is now struggling on those tyres because he's conceded about 7/10 to Peter on the last couple of laps. And Chill, it was after the incidents, the gap was over 9 seconds. It's now 7.1, and we have a safety car. We're going to get, oh my word.
You're going to spin it out of the final corner.
We're going to get 1 lap of racing, aren't we, at the end of this?
So, I think now, Raleigh and Tin Can and Rudy are all in this best spot. They're the 3 guys without a penalty. Miami smartly has come into the pits right now just to get a set of those soft compound tyres on, so he's on fresh softs. The only problem is he's going to be losing out to Caesar, to Bree, to White, to Cam K, a Commentalist. In fact, Commentalist comes in, Cam K comes in.
You know what, J. Cole? I'm not even sure we're going to get anyone behind the safety car, actually. Everyone's going to be held to the delta. Safety car is programmed, so there must be 2 laps of racing. TDB had passed pit exit by the time the safety car came out. I'm not sure how this is going to work, because the game is meant to allow 2 laps of racing at the end. By the time they catch up, there's only going to be 1.
Okay.
So...
I don't know then.
Or could we even end the race on the safety car, which I didn't know could happen in this game, but...
Surely not. Surely it's not going to end on the safety car, though.
Well, if it's going to come in, it has to come in this lap, because we're now on to the penultimate lap.
The only ones that I think a couple more guys are going to catch up to it. I think really it's the top 6 that are going to be behind that safety car when it comes to the restart. Because there's the safety car, she's pulling out now. TDB is now behind it, so everyone's deltas are going to disappear.
I think Rudy might be the last one, possibly. That we
Maybe
see.
Caesar.
Is Caesar going to catch up to it? Tell you what, if Bree catches up to it, this is... He's going to turn it on its head, because TDB, Peter, Chill, they're not in one lap going to get 3 seconds on Bree, Rudy, Tin Can. It's not going to happen.
I would be shocked. So, I think Raleigh...
Our top 3 is Raleigh, Tin Can and Rudy.
I think Raleigh could win this race.
I think so too. We've just got safety car in this lap. My word, we've got Educk and Mark in the way as lapped cars, as Damon's picked up a penalty for God knows what.
K-Mark is just behind his teammate as well. K-Mark is actually just behind Raleigh. So K-Mark, under the safety car, he could literally let his teammate get away, and Tin Can could, like, there's nothing that Tin Can could do about it.
I think you're right. And TDB is going to need the lap of his life if he's going to stay on the podium.
He really does. He really does. This is it. I can't believe this. On the final lap, this is where it's happening. K-Mark gets a 5-second pen, and same as Tin Can. So this is where it really is going to go for it now. TDB goes right now at the final corner. This is the final lap of this race. Peter is all over the back of TDB. This is going to be for position between these two. Chill already dropping back ever so slightly, and same with Raleigh as well. Raleigh did not have a good start whatsoever. So Raleigh could also be dropping back and potentially not on that podium. He's 2 seconds behind TDB and 1.5 seconds behind
And
Peter.
Tin Can's got a 5-second penalty. I'm not... Did you see what that was for?
I think he had a collision with K-Mark, one of the lap cars.
Oh.
So
we've got Raleigh, Rudy. Rudy's 4 seconds behind TDB. I think TDB is going to get on the podium here, you know.
Peter could
The
also
lap
still
cars
get there
have
as well.
saved him.
Yeah.
The lap cars have saved them.
I think TDB still. I think Raleigh's going to take the win, as there are yellow flags now in the back. I don't know what has happened in the back there, but we're now, as I said, the final lap. It's now 2.4 separates TDB and Raleigh. TDB is now just making his way around the final corner. It was a staggering effort from him. He'd done so well at this beginning. Same with Peter and Chill, but Raleigh across the line and ends up taking the win for the first race of this season. Rudy 1/10 behind Chill in the end. Bree ends up finishing in 6th. Sophian, after having that spin and that wing damage, finishes in P7.
And Bree up to 6th as well. What a crazy last 15 laps. I have never seen an end of a race like that.
Neither have I. I've got no words for that. I'm really surprised the safety car, it must have come out just as TDB crossed the line. Literally as he crossed, just before he crossed the line, the safety car must have come out and he's gone past it. So, yeah, I think Raleigh can, wow. I said a safety car could turn it on its head. It certainly has. Raleigh from, where did he even start? I think he was in 8th or 7th from the start.
I'm not too sure where he started, to be honest. 7th.
I suppose that's what you can get for keeping it clean. Yes, 7th on the grid. Raleigh miraculously, no offence to him, but miraculously manages to take the win for the first race of the season in Division 3. TDB, an absolute valiant effort from him and Peter, but that safety car really messed them over and ends up only managing to take 2nd and 3rd. Chill, again, a valiant effort from him on those hard tyres, but ends up taking P4. Rudy in 5th with Bree in 6th, Sophian in 7th. Caesar finishing in 8th with Cam K in 9th, and Tin Can rounding out that top 10. That 5-second penalty that he got to his name, I'm assuming he's going to try and get that removed, and if he does, well, that puts him in P4.
Put him 4th, I think.
It certainly will. So, commenter list in 11th with White Rawai in 12th. Miami dropping out of the points in the end into P13. Trench in 14th with Tim Mats in 15th. Damon 16th. Old School in 17th. K-Mark in 18th. Edoc in 19th. And the only one that DNF'd on that final lap was Riorin Visser in P20. But, I mean, what a race. What a race that was, Jake.
If you ask me to summarise, I've got nothing to say because I can't even think about what happened. So much happened in those last few laps. There were so many skirmishes and incidents, and that last safety car was the most absurd thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The lap cars definitely saving TDB and Peter's bacon there, else I think they would have found themselves knocked off the podium. But Mega Drive from Raleigh, you can't say he didn't deserve it. He drove so cleanly through everything that happened. TDB, say the only other rival for driver today, and to be honest, I think I would give TDB driver today because he was so unlucky. He did so well to make those mediums last, even with the SC. It was just a bizarre race more than anything. Bizarre.
Yeah, no, it certainly was, and you know what? I'm going to be the boring one, and I'm going to say it was Raleigh that did. I think Raleigh gets that driver of the day. He kept it absolutely clean, kept it like he didn't put a foot wrong in that race, and he's just absolutely soared to that and ends up taking that win for tonight. But you got any final words for the stream, Jake? If you could think of any.
More of the same next week, please, D3. Silverstone, I'm expecting even better.
Yeah, absolutely insane. But as Jake said, thank you to everyone that has tuned in for tonight. Of course, as I said, we are around at Silverstone next week, so make sure you guys are tuning into that as well at 6:40 p.m. at GMT. Of course, Division 2 and Division 5 are going to be starting in about 20 minutes time, so make sure you guys are tuning in for that. Thank you very much for watching, and we will catch you guys next week for round 2 around the Silverstone circuit.